Welcome to Rubbin Minds. My name is Isabella Adeliji. We begin the show looking at some of the headlines that rocked the past week, from the attack on ADC supporters to the increase in the cost of CNG to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu going on vacation at a time of harsh economic realities, and of course the incessant menace that has become the tanker driver accidents that have plagued our highways. Joining me for this conversation is Dapo Adaramewa, a governance consultant. Welcome to Rubbin Minds.
Thank you for having me. It's good to see you again.
A pleasure. Thank you for honoring our invitation. So we'll start with the road to 2027. Now, ADC has been the party that everybody is looking to as the very strong opposition, almost like a third challenger. But there's been an attack on their supporters, and this raises the question of security during the elections. What do you make of this?
Well, considering how far we are from the actual elections, I think all it goes to show is the desperation that's in the air right now. And that's just a function of the fact that everybody can recognize that the people are not content with this government. The people are hungry, the people are suffering. I think Nigerians have been through more hardship somehow in the last 2 years than in the past 10 years, you know. And so people are frustrated, and it seems like they're panicking. They are panicking, and they're resorting to unruly means to try and subvert the opposition. But in truth, as we saw yesterday, it won't work. It cannot work.
Do you think the security agencies are doing enough to make people feel at peace, whatever decision they decide to make at the polls, whether it's for the ruling party or the opposition party?
The opposition parties are committed to ensuring security for its voters. That's a given. Now, there are members of the security forces, let's just be general, right, that have been compromised and are going to work with specific parties and are going to try and subvert democracy. But I believe there are also elements within the security forces that recognize that this democracy of a thing affects every one of us. I don't know of any security force member who was exempt from the inflation. I don't know of any security force member who has not felt the pain that we have all been through in the last 2 years. So the appeal is to them directly, that uphold what you know is right, because no matter what they give you now, if you suffer for another 4 years, it won't help you, and it certainly is not helping your children. So there's a strong move among some elements of the police force and other security agencies to actually defend the Constitution. I mean, from what happened on yesterday, we can actually see that the candidate for Lagos State, Mr. Gbadebo Rhodes-Viable, actually showed up. He had some policemen with him, and they were able to calm down the arena. They were able to disperse the crowd and secure the area for the people who were there. And it's interesting because on the other side, when the thugs arrived, they also arrived with some members of the security forces as well. So that is what we are seeing. That is, and it's a very anarchic place to be, and it's a very dangerous thing. So that is why I would encourage the government at hand to do what is right and respect the will of the people. If the Nigerian people want to speak, let them speak. And we're so far from the election, I don't understand. It just shows how weak they really are.
That desperation that is showing its face in 2025. When you look at INEC, who's supposed to be the umpire, the ombudsman, where do you see them coming in to allay the fears of Nigerians before they go to the polls? Because if we're seeing this in 2025, it begs the question, what should we expect in 2026 and 2027?
Yeah, you're very right. What we should be asking ourselves what to expect, because considering this wasn't an election, this was just a gathering of the opposition party for them to react like this. Now, in the area of INEC, I always say that I don't believe that our deliverance as Nigerian people is going to come from INEC or come from anybody else apart from ourselves. Now, it is possible to rig elections, right? But there are elections that you cannot rig. And what I mean by that is, in the last election we had, I think, about less than 40% voter turnout. If 80% of people with PVCs show up at their polling unit, there's no way they can rig it. There's not enough security forces to help them defend that rigging. Because if the Nigerian people come out in mass, they go to their polling unit and they stay till the votes are counted and transmitted. Nobody can rig it. And that's what we're going for in this next election. We're driving the people, encourage them to know that their fate is in their hands. When we come out as a people and speak in one voice, there is no amount of intimidation or rigging that can push us out.
Would you go to the polls knowing that your life might be in danger, the life of your family members, your friends, your loved ones? We saw what happened in Lagos State where, for example, I'm Isabella Ebonua Chukwugosimuzo, but it's very easy to say, oh, yeah, Omo Igbo, we're not going to let you vote because this is Yoruba. So when you have all of that, how safe are the polls? And will you actually step out if you know you might not make it alive?
I think it is part of the agenda that certain individuals are trying to push. Because the less people that, you saw what happened in Rivers State, the less people that turn out to vote out of fear, the easier it is again to rig, right? There is nothing to be afraid. The opposition parties are coming together to speak as one united voice. And we will do everything within our power, working with the security agents to ensure that the polls are perfectly safe. And I don't think the government can stand up and say it's going to oppose to that, right? We're all working together to keep the polls safe, and the people must come out. We will come out. I have absolutely no fear. I will be at my polling unit. I will vote, and I will sit there with my chair and wait till my votes are counted. And every Nigerian should do that. Let's bear in mind that we are over 200 million people who want a good life. We cannot have less than 500 people somewhere tell us they are so high-handed, they will tell us what we would do. It's impossible. It is just impossible. So the Nigerian people should come out in mass and show anybody and everybody that this is a democratic country. We will not be intimidated. We will not be deceived. We will come out and do what is right. Vote for whatever party you want. Vote for the ADC, vote for the APC, vote for whoever you want. But we must all have that right to come out, vote, and have our votes counted.
You speak with so much optimism and passion, and I wonder for those who are watching if they actually believe that their votes count, because like you've said, rigging does happen. And if people are convinced that their vote does not count, maybe because their candidates doesn't have it in them to win because they're from an opposition party that is not well known, or whether they feel like, oh, even if I vote, they're still going to change the results, then why bother? Why make the effort?
You see, the fact that people believe that is the problem. And this, I find this to be because I've been around and I am supporting the opposition parties, and I've seen that there's a lot of people around that really believe in, for example, His Excellency Peter Gregory Obi. They believe in him, but they never leave their house because everybody has bought into this notion that it doesn't matter. It's the biggest lie ever told. There's a quote, I don't know if you've ever heard, that says, the biggest lie the devil ever told was convincing the world he doesn't exist, right? Now, the biggest lie politicians have told us, and they have told us for years and years, is that our votes don't count. Now, let me ask you for something. If our votes don't count, why are they buying it?
So votes do count.
Yes.
But in the entirety of it, does every single vote count? There are some polling units that there are no reports of violence. People stay, they count the votes, and what transpired there is what is reported. And there are some polling units that are marred with violence that we have barely anything to show for. So I believe that that fear is founded.
The fear is founded, but people should not underestimate, and I don't think Nigerians should forget where we have come from as a people, right? We fought against colonial masters. We fought against the military. See, 20 thugs are not enough to overpower us as a people. We saw it in the last election in 2023, where those thugs were beaten out of certain polling units. It is within our right to defend ourselves as Nigerians, and Nigerians need to go to the polls ready and willing, if the security forces will not step up, to protect themselves, because that is what is required in a democracy. Because I ask this question, if we all give up, what then? Can we all be refugees? Will Canada open its door to all of us? What then? What future are we going to give our children? Our forefathers gave us independence. They gave us freedom from military dictatorship. What are we going to leave our own children? Are we going to leave them a shattered democracy because we said we were afraid? I don't believe that that's what... Nigerians are resilient. We are the toughest people I've traveled around the world, and I know Nigerians are resilient, and I know we are not intimidated. That's why when we move to Canada, we take over, right? We won't be intimidated by anybody come 2027 because we have seen enough shiggy.
So your charge to Nigerians is to vote, protect their vote, and protect themselves.
And protect themselves.
I'd like us to move to the incessant tanker accidents across Nigeria. We've seen what has happened in the past, and it's almost becoming like a regular headline. People die, accidents, the highways, they're not safe. And a lot of people are abandoning the roads, those who can afford for air travel, which they feel is safer, or trains. Why does this keep happening? And where does, whose table does this fall on when it comes to taking responsibility?
I've had personal experience with that. Luckily, I wasn't involved in the accident, but we were driving. It was on our way to Ajah, and I saw this driver, this tanker driver, moving a certain way. And I told the person that was driving, I was like, please, can you move 2 lanes over? I have a feeling that there's something wrong with this man. And within 15 minutes, he had crashed somebody off the road, right? Wow. Now, there's a lot of drink driving in Nigeria, and then there's also a lack of infrastructure. In the developed world, we don't really see as many tankers driving through residential areas and built-up areas, right? That's because the infrastructure is sufficient. We spent billions of Chinese funds building railways. Can't they transport things around the states? So in terms of the long-term solution, definitely there needs to be more investment in infrastructure that can only come around when there's the right government. But beyond that, we need our, I think it's FRSC that is in charge of making sure these cars are okay, or I'm not too sure which agency is in charge.
Sometimes it's FRSC that's stopping you, sometimes it's VIO, sometimes it's LASMA, sometimes it's the police. So there are enough officials on the road.
There are enough of the road. But the issue is that they are not concerned with public safety. For the most part, a lot of them are, in fact, I was stopped earlier today, to greet me and say, Chairman, anything for the boys. Do you understand? They are not concerned with public. He didn't even bother to ask for my license. I could have been an unlicensed driver, but that was not his priority. His priority was to see if I can give him something. But again, it still ties down to the conditions. These people are they're not from Mars. They are our family. Policemen are our brothers, they are our sisters. All these officials, they are from families just like us. But the conditions in which they are living as a result of abandonment by their own government is what is causing them and driving many of them to act the way they do.
We can't talk about this issue of tanker drivers without speaking about the elephant in the room. We've seen Dangote trucks involved in accidents leading to fatalities, injuries. And it begs the question that a company as big as Dangote, headed by the richest man in Africa, what's the HR policy like in ensuring that the right drivers make it to the roads? If the officials in charge do not do their duties and they are more interested in Happy Sunday, anything for the boys, then why can't we get it right from ensuring only the right people have access to those vehicles?
I wouldn't single out the Dangote company, for example, just because of the statistics, right? If you have a company that has over 10,000 cars on the road, statistically, somebody, no matter how perfect your HR system is, will have an accident, and it will happen, right? The pressure can never really be on private institutions to provide what the government should, right? And every institution should try their best, but mistakes do happen. But what we need to ask ourselves is, how quick was the response time when that Dangote truck hit somebody? How quickly was that person in the hospital? Was that hospital funded? Did that hospital have the life-saving equipment that was required? In my personal life, I have seen it happen. I have seen people rush to the hospital and die as a result of the fact that there is no equipment in the hospitals. We went to 4 hospitals a particular day, and there was not one single bed in this Lagos state. Weeks later, the person passed away, unfortunately.
But still, private organizations do have to take responsibilities because 100%. It's their drivers that are involved in these accidents. So you mentioned drink driving. So what are these organizations doing to also ensure that, okay, you're the right person for the job and you're in the right state? Perhaps there are issues on overworking, many hours. What policies can they put so that they're not held liable? Because the fact is, as big as they are, they will always be the target That's just what will happen. So they do have to step up.
100%. They could do things like drug tests. They could do alcohol consumption tests to ensure that these drivers are not inebriated at the time of. And like you said, ensuring that they have licenses. I think I remember just seeing a video on Twitter of an alleged driver for one of the big companies that was stopped, and he said he left his driver's license in Kogi or something funny like that. It's strange, but it does happen, unfortunately.
I would like us to move to President Tinubu's vacation. I don't know about you, but it came as a surprise, especially in light of everything happening at home. We've seen increase in CNG prices, which was supposed to replace the already expensive PMS. And then it seems like the house is on fire. The economy, people are suffering despite what the international world is saying in terms of statistics. And then the president decides to go on vacation. Is this a timely decision, and what does this say about standing with the people?
I think there's a great distance between our leaders and us as the people, and that's why you see the convoy of any senator, any, 6, 7 cars. They'll even have ambulance inside. They'll have everything they need. The distance between them and us is so wide that from their perspective, they don't understand what the people are going through. And that's why somebody can wake up in the middle of everything that's going on in Nigeria and say, I need 10 days to relax. We, the people, are not getting that, right? So it's a very painful thing, and it speaks to I would say a lack of empathy on the side of our leaders, and that's why we must now look around us and try and pick among ourselves leaders that have shown empathy and have integrity that we can vote in the next election.
This is something that the opposition party and members of the opposition have jumped on, that, the president is on vacation, the country, the economy is in shambles, and some people are saying, well, this is just cheap political points. When you get there, won't you go on vacation? Don't you deserve to rest? He has able people. The vice president is still there. The ministers, the lawmakers, they're all still there.
Well, I can certainly understand that argument, but we all have leaders in our life. Forget the president, right? We all have leaders in our life. And we know what endears us to the people around us that we call leaders, right? If your pastor comes and tells you, okay, everybody fast for a new hall for the church, and you see him eating rice after the service, you look at him and say, pastor, I've been fasting 3 weeks now. So we know what good leadership is. So the opposition can run to his defense, they can play politics with it, but the Nigerian people were not to be fooled.
I don't know if you can see the footage there of the governors who have left their states to bid the president goodbye, or I believe, doesn't that worry you? People are leaving their duty post to see Mr. President.
Governor of one of the eastern states.
Doesn't that, I mean, there are concerns about the economy. Governors have their work cut out for them, but they're there bidding the president goodbye as he goes on vacation. I'm not sure I've seen this kind of thing in any country. I'm not sure. So, I mean, I'm a bit startled, to be honest, and I'm just wondering, what's the point of this, and what message are we sending to the people?
Yeah, well, it's very clear that this message is not for the people, right? This is a circus. This is drama, right? Because I believe there's the governor from one of the eastern states. He must have flown 2 hours to be there to do like this. Do you understand? He definitely didn't fly public. Even if he flew public, return flights about 400,000. So he would have flown private. He would have given up hours that he could have dedicated to his people. We have other governors who should be leading their states while the people are going through. They came all the way there to stand and do like this. Please text him. WhatsApp him, bye-bye, sir. And sit down and focus on what you are called to do. It is a ridiculous circus. And it goes to show how, no matter how much the people are complaining, it seems like this government doesn't get what people are going through. This is not the time for this. And you have the gall to put it right there in front of all of us and, oh, this is a huge ceremony. And the shocking part is, if you're not careful, some of them will fly to Paris or wherever he's going and go and wait for him there so that they can welcome him.
And all
come
of
back
this
to
is
Nigeria.
on taxpayers' money,
Oh, yes,
and we have issues with infrastructure, we have issues with the economy, with security, with health, with education, and some governors think it's right to go personally to say goodbye. Like you said, that could be done in a text message and
a WhatsApp message to save money. Let's not waste 6 naira on text.
Yeah, I'll move very quickly as we're almost out of time to the surge in CNG prices, because this has been such a hotly debated topic of go switch your tank from PMS to CNG because it's cheaper. And now what is supposedly cheaper has gone up. And again, it begs the question, how much can the Nigerian people truly take? How much before they reach their breaking point?
You know, I have found myself asking that question many times. And it speaks to the strength, again, of the Nigerian people. But it's about time we direct our strength to something else. There's nobility in suffering, but please, we have suffered enough. So let's do something about it. Let's go out there and vote and change this government, because it's out of the frying pan into the fire, right? We saw fuel prices increase. Do you know how much people paid to convert their cars to CNG? Millions. Only to find out that CNG is going to go up again. Why?
You know, the rush, the encouragement, almost like false hope that once you have this done, you don't have to spend so much, and yet that is increased. And Nigerians just have so many questions, because I haven't changed my car, but if I had, I'd be greatly disappointed and maybe be asking how to change it back, because we don't know where this price is going to. So I don't know, what are the alternatives? I mean, are we going to start thinking of riding donkeys,
horses,
walking?
maybe, jogging around town? You know, you see, the thing is, there are no alternatives. I feel the Nigerian people are so strong that we keep turning the other cheek, turning, and we've run out of cheeks to turn. So it's about time people just say, okay, you know what, and it's not even about waiting to the next election, no. Because that's another mistake.
So we must make our voices count. And I believe conversations like this are so important, where Nigerians come and speak their minds, and hopefully they're watching. Unfortunately, we're out of time. Thank you so much, Dapo Adaramewa, for your contributions.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you very much.
Thank you. We'll go on a quick break on Rubbin Minds. Do join us shortly. Welcome back to Rubbin Minds. Now, the last time we discussed AI on the show, my producer was teasing me that he no longer calls me to write anything for him or edit because AI can do it. And there's a lot of truth in that. Businesses have been lost to machines, robots, AI, the technology. And we have sad stories like that of Catherine Sullivan, a 65-year-old from Australia who worked at Commonwealth Bank of Australia for 25 years. And then picture this, she helps to train a chatbot that ends up taking her job. So it begs the question that, okay, AI is not taking jobs, it's taking jobs of those who can't use the AI. But if you've done all the work to develop the AI and still out of a job, then where do we draw the line? Are we safe? Are our jobs safe? And in 10 years, am I going to still be here hosting, or will there be some AI robots doing this? Joining me for this conversation, I have with me in the studio Uche Edwin, an AI expert and strategist. Welcome to Rubbin Minds.
Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you for honoring our invitation. And joining me virtually, I have Jamiu Idowu, also an AI expert. Welcome to Rubbin Minds. Jamiu, can you hear me?
Yeah, Jamiu. Thank you so much. It's a privilege to be here. Thank you.
Welcome. I'll start the conversation with you, Uche. Is AI really taking people's jobs, or is it taking only the jobs of people who don't know how to use AI? Is it possible that Catherine Sullivan could have used AI and then kept her job?
It's interesting because the reports from the World Economic Forum earlier this year stated a couple of roles that we are threatened by AI. Data entry role, customer service, bank tellers. Those were the kind of roles that we expected that AI would take. But just last week, you saw a company like Salesforce laying off over 4,000 employees. If you look through the people who were laid off, software engineers were there, AI product managers were there. What that tells you is that AI is no longer just taking the jobs of people who don't know how to use AI, but even people who we expect are very good with using AI. Why? Because it is bringing more efficiency into the workflow. And you can't blame business owners. Everyone is looking for how to cut costs and maximize profit. And if AI's efficiency would lead to that, then even those who know how to use AI might be affected.
Jamu, do you agree that everyone will be affected, whether you can use the AI or you don't know how to use AI, whether it's customer service? We're all at risk of losing our jobs.
Yeah, I won't say we are all at risk, but I'll say to a large extent, AI is going to automate a lot of workflows. And one thing that will come with that automation is that some people will lose their jobs completely. And again, like Uche said, it depends also on the type of job you do. The problem is that we are not really certain yet about the capability of this tool because it is not yet fully built. We have not actualized the full potential of AI. So it's difficult to now assess, okay, what will be the impact of this tool that you have not fully built. However, the inherent nature of building AI is that you learn from samples from the past, right? So that means that if you are doing any work that is repetitive, any work that is mundane, any work that is, routine kind of work, AI is going to replace all those things. But if you are doing something around strategy, creativity, something that requires emotional intelligence, yeah, maybe you are still safe.
I wonder, Uche, how can you AI-proof your job, or what can you do? What measures can you put in place so that you don't end up being replaced? Is there anything that can be done?
I developed what I call, for myself, and also I've shared out on my social media handles, what I call like a framework for you to future-proof yourself. So you are either an AI builder or you're an AI power user. If you're going to be an AI power user, say you're not part of those who are building AIs and writing the codes, and you just want to be able to make use of AI, then it's important that you know how to make use of those tools very well, in such a way that it will help you improve your own efficiency. And what happens that even if your job, for instance, like I said, I'm an AI product manager, and product managers were laid off. So what happens, is it possible for my job to be at risk? That's a very possibility. But do I know how to use AI in such a way that I'm able to automate my work and also now stand back as a strategist and look at what AI provides to me? So that's where being a power user comes in, whereby you bring in that strategy and creativity beyond as in just the automation of the work, and it really helps you scale your own efficiency. And even if you end up losing your job, you can offer these services to more businesses to automate their own tasks. That's the truth. So you don't want to see AI as a threat. You rather see it as something that you can use for yourself, right? And that will require you to become a power user.
Jamu, I want to take you back to your earlier answer about some jobs being safer, to use that word, because they require emotional intelligence and it's not something that AI can take. Can you expand more on what kind of jobs, at least in the foreseeable future, are protected from the coming of AI?
Okay, so when you build an AI system, you are taking samples from the past and you are giving it to the model, and the model is learning from the past. So if your job involves something that is routine, something that is, like you do all the time, then maybe AI will automate a lot of that. But let's say if you're a teacher, you will have some tasks automated by AI, like creating lesson plans. But AI is not going to replace your leadership or your emotional intelligence that you need to provide for, caring for the children in the class. That is one. If you are a healthcare professional, AI will probably help you in terms of diagnosing diseases faster, but it's also not going to replace some other things that you do as a doctor. If you are a lawyer, AI is going to replace a lot of tasks that you do, like marking up contracts, redlining contracts, but it is not going to replace maybe strategy or you trying to get a new client or even going to court for litigation, except, of course, if, let's say, the government decides to say robot lawyers can, go to court and argue cases in court. So there are specific tasks that you can still do in your work that AI will not replace. However, there are some jobs that I believe AI will replace 100%. Uche mentioned customer service, absolutely. If you also, even if you are into delivery of, let's say goods and stuff like goods, logistics, you have automated delivery service now, and you don't even need to, use any human being. So in essence, some tasks will be fully automated across all jobs. But one thing that I think we should not do is panic, because this is not something new. Like AI is maybe new, but the essence of, okay, you're having something new trying to take jobs is not something that is just happening today. In history, you have a situation where Henry Ford introduced assembly lines to factories. A lot of people lost their jobs, but new jobs were created. You also have, during the advent of the internet, people lost their jobs. But today, you have people who are doing something like social media managers. These are jobs that did not exist like 20 years ago or 30 years ago, but now they exist. So there will be new jobs that will also be created, and I think we are going to be fine in the end.
We're going to be fine. Uche, I wonder, because I was waiting for him to say maybe something along the lines of writing, as I said in my introduction. Writers, some of us are crying more than others, because you're a good writer and you've probably been using M-N-, and then all of a sudden anything with M-N- is AI. And a lot of people are now bypassing writers. Case in point, my producer not calling me to write for him. What does that say about creativity? Can we outsource creativity and creative ventures like that to AI? And as a people, is that what we should be ready for? So AI generated write-ups, songs, movies, the whole works, artwork, is that where we're headed with AI?
The truth is, each of those things you mentioned, from the writing of scripts, videos, images, name it, even songs. I was talking to somebody yesterday, and I told him that it is possible right now to create an entire album and with a virtual AI artist. And you could be lucky, you put those songs on Spotify or on YouTube, and one of them goes viral. And people would wonder who sang this song, right? But they wouldn't know it's an AI that was used to generate it. That is the world that we are going into. So it will happen.
But what does it say about your intellectual property? I mean, AI is based on what other people have put out there. So where do you draw the line between plagiarism, intellectual theft, and what can writers, musicians do to use AI but still remain authentic? Like, we don't all want to sound the same. We don't all want to look the same.
Yeah. I think we can each bring our own individualism, our unique experiences, the things that makes us us. Like, that's what I believe every single person has to bring in to whatever you're writing. So for instance, you use AI to generate an Afrobeat song. Hundreds of us can use AI to generate Afrobeat songs, right? What will make it not sound the same is where I bring in my uniqueness, my experience, whereby I look at the lyrics and I'm able to maybe tweak here, by using it, enriching it with my own thoughts. I believe that that's like a failure-proof approach, because we cannot negate, we cannot even say we're not going to make use of AI. You can't fight it. So you have to use it. Are you a writer, even say a fictional writer, you can still use AI. But what brings that difference is your own unique experiences that you are integrating into your write-up.
So a co-creation of sorts. I'll move to you, Jamyu, and my question is around the innovations that you've seen come about as a result of AI. Are there any particular innovations that have blown your mind or have surprised you and you're like, wow, if we can have this from AI, this is the future, even much more can come from it?
Okay, yeah, so I think sometime in 2023, I was at the airport in Belfast. So I just went to the airport lounge just to buy food, and I did not interact with any human being. I ordered the food, and you have a robot, brought the food. to me just to eat the food. That's one. The second thing is that personally I do a lot of research work, applying AI to law, to education, and I am really happy about the potential of AI to transform education, for instance. If you look at the traditional way we teach students in class, you know that you have one teacher to multiple students, let's say 40 students in class. There is no way the teacher can really understand every single thing that a child needs. But with an AI system, you can now have an AI tool that understands the child's history, the learning style, and everything. And what the teacher needs to do is to just bring out the student ID, and the teacher will understand every single thing. Where is this child having a problem? And it was the same thing that the former UK Prime Minister, Sunak, said when he said that the holy grail of education is personalized learning. However, right now, when we are in an analog society, it's difficult to achieve personalized learning, one teacher to one student. With AI, that is 100% possible. Same thing with healthcare. So this AI's ability to transform industries and make it better, I believe, is what is fascinating to me and what I am happy about.
Okay. Very important points raised there, Jamu. I mean, I'm very big on education, health, but again, I worry about data privacy, how much of ourselves are exposed to the technology, where do we draw the line? And I mean, are we going to get to a point where AI is helping us think and is almost, are we going to have AI chips embedded in our brains and yeah, we're like semi-robots?
I think that every single person has a responsibility to themselves. There is that temptation to want to outsource thinking to AI. I won't lie to you, that's very possible. Whereby, I mean, I want to write, say, an entire report, and I can decide to use AI to write it. I want to do a research, say marketing research, and I can use AI agents and they will do the research extremely well for me. So there is that temptation. However, we need to, every one of us has that responsibility to ourselves to be able to draw the line, whereby you know that this, if you take what AI gives you as it is, you are not different from the next person who has used AI, so your output will be generic. And so bringing in your own unique experiences, like I mentioned, your own creativity, what you have, which you've been using before AI came, bringing it in enriches the scope of what you have written. And I think that's the reality. So will we have chips embedded in our, that's very possible. Like,
wow.
I do research.
I believe
yes.
that would be a conversation.
Research going, so it's very possible.
Wow.
Yeah.
That would be a conversation for another day because we're out of time. Thank you very much, Uche Edwin, and thank you very much, Jamido, for your contributions on this hotly debated topic, AI. We'll go on a quick break on Rubbin Minds. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back to Rubbin Minds. Now, our final guest on the show is the musician who blends different languages from English to French to Yoruba and many more. His music can be almost described as spiritual, but heavily rooted in Afrobeats. It's a pleasure to be joined by the wildly talented musician Amosu Mujib Kiddo.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure to have you.
You're welcome.
So tell me, how did you start making music and what led you into it? Was it an escape or was it something you had always aspired to, maybe based on your upbringing?
What led me to music is not the escape from anything. It's just that something I'm used to right from my childhood, because my mom used to sing in there is something we call asalatu to Muslims, actually. So I used to follow her to asalatus, and then the way she used to sing, and I always sing along. Anytime she's at home, I'll sing along with her. So it is through that I get to feel like I have the voice. So making use of the voice, anytime I listen to songs, the likes of them, Akon, back then, I used to write the lyrics, and I used to memorize the lyrics, and I do something like mimicking the song, and that's how everything started.
Okay, so your mother influenced your journey into music, even if she did not know at the time. Was this passion for music encouraged by your parents, by people you looked up to, or was it a case of focus on your book, music is something you can do on the side?
Yeah, at first, my mom wasn't okay with that. She said the only thing she needed is she want me to get a certificate. After getting the certificate, whatever things I want to do, I should go on. So at the end of the day, I got my certificate. The moment I got my certificate, I walked into her and tell her that I want to continue my journey. And she prayed and said, go ahead.
And how were you able to find your sound? You mentioned Akon, you mentioned Asalatu, you mentioned writing lyrics down. Who has influenced your style of music?
Actually, my style of music is a little bit complicated. I've not seen someone right in Nigeria that actually have a focus on that kind of sound. The use of French, English, a little bit of Arabic, and so other languages that are across Nigeria, the likes of Mali. Because I try to infuse all those sounds together and bring out something new that I know I bring this kind of sound to this Nigeria.
And were you ever worried that you would alienate people who don't understand Arabic, French, Yoruba, and did you think your music will have more appeal if it was just strictly English?
There is one thing we should know about this: music is universal. So the most important part of it is the melody and the messages you are passing across while singing the song you are trying to give out, and especially the lyrics. And then meanwhile, me personally, when I try to write songs and I look at what is going around and I look at what is going with you, what is going with me, and something that is not even happening where you are, the outside, so that people can easily relate to whatever you are doing, you are giving out.
Your music has been described as spiritual. Why? Is that from a relationship you have with God, or the artists who you've looked up to? What gives your work that spirituality?
The spirituality, I can say that things come from my mom, actually. She's a prayer warrior. And me personally, I inherit that from her, actually. I love prayer. I love praying. So whatever things I'm doing, I will make sure I infuse something that has to do with something prayer in the sound. Whether it's a movable one, whether it's dance or something, I will make sure something like that will relate so that it can give you happiness and joy by the time you're moving.
Now, you're very big on TikTok. And, you know, once you make it on TikTok, like, it's only a matter of time. And street music, you're very big on that. What has contributed to that success that you're enjoying today?
Literally, let me say this, TikTok changed my line of music into a better one. So how it started, there is a song that I released 3 years ago, titled Ye Masa. That's one of the songs that brought me into the limelight, even though at that point, some people do not know the face. But that sound will never leave your head. So that's that. Now that I found you, girl, I know you want, it was everywhere at that point. And from there, I got some deals. It was the deals that made Mkido be who is Mkido today.
And you said TikTok made you change your music.
Yeah.
Change your music how? Did you change your sound? Is it less street now because you want to appeal to the TikTok generation?
You know, what I mean by change my sound is not like TikTok will give you the confidence, like what you have to give to people. Before, we used to seek for people that we sponsor us and all that, maybe label. But if you know what you're doing and if you are following the right track, trust me, TikTok will put you there. And then by the time TikTok puts you there, if there are investors that want to invest, they can come when they see that this particular person wants to be invested on, and they will come and do the right thing. So that's what I mean. TikTok brought me out. It is true that I got deals from one distribution company like that made things change for me on TikTok. So without TikTok, if I didn't promote my song on TikTok, the distribution company will not see me.
I wonder when your song trends, whether you're now under pressure to write another song that would trend, and you're almost writing for a TikTok market of, okay, this song must trend, they must use it for a challenge, and it might take you away from maybe the originality of your sound and music?
Yeah, I think one thing to me, if when things like this happen, I would rather focus on what I think is giving me peace of mind and is giving me funds. Like the TikTok now. At the end of the day, we are striving and trying hard to make it to the top and get the doors. So if along the way, what you're doing easily, you're doing it smoothly and it's giving you what you want, you need to keep doing it for the right time to come. And then the world will adjust. At the end of the day, if they keep on hearing the sound on TikTok, at the end of the people outside TikTok, they can easily get the influence from it. Because nowadays now, I feel everybody is now on TikTok. Even though our top 3, top 1, top 2, top 2, everybody is on TikTok. So you have to give it what it takes to get what you want.
So if your song doesn't trend on TikTok, does it mean it's a failure? Does it mean that it doesn't resonate with your listeners and your fans?
That doesn't mean it's a failure. If you should look into it now, let me take sample from this, my big bro, Skills. 10 years ago, he dropped a song. Lami Yama came, he posted it on TikTok. Where is the song today? The song is still moving, like say he just dropped the song yesterday. So that means you still have every chance, every opportunity to make it out of TikTok. So far as your sound is okay, is good, it's something that every single person can relate with. You will easily get it.
Now, I mean, TikTok comes with a lot of eyeballs. People get to know you. They get to enjoy your music. You're famous. You're popular. Have you been able to navigate this popularity, the attention, and I'm sure the demands also from family, friends, and fans?
Actually, me, I'm a kind of person, things like this doesn't move me. Even though when I walk around people shout, Mkido, I feel we are still the same thing. What just separates us is just that I'm just lucky for you to know me. That's just it. So I act the way human beings need to act. I behave the way human beings. But even though when I'm in the midst of people shouting, just calm, let's converse, let's shake, let's do this. If you want to take picture, let's take picture and let's go. That's just it.
So you remained humble. It's not moving
I don't
you.
know. That doesn't move me, actually. The fame and the popularity is not something that moves me.
I know the hopes of most musicians is to take their music abroad, to go on tours, and you have an upcoming tour in Europe. Tell us about it.
Actually, the tour was very funny. What happened is, I think, let me say last month, I went for a concert in Ivory Coast.
Okay.
So from that concert, and I wowed people. People do not know this guy is in Nigeria, and the fact that I infused a little bit French to spice the audience up and all that. And after then, I'm still going back to the country for a concert, because special concert for Mkido in that country. So along that, yes, along that, there was some videos I posted. It was through the video. One of the French people in France saw it, and I said, oh, since you just dropped an EP, why can't we go on your tour? Let's go for it. So that's how everything starts with my Europe tour that is coming. We are going to visit Germany, Belgium, France, Poland, and some other countries as well.
Wow, amazing.
Yeah,
congratulations and all the best with that. Do you see yourself infusing from those languages, German, Polish, Flemish? It seems to be the winning formula.
Actually, if the basic part of music right now, based on streaming part, people that stream songs mostly are Francophone people. If you see Rema today being in Paris, Ashake in Paris, Davido in Paris, you must know something is there. So definitely, there are some places you need to focus as an artist. Not really think it's only Nigeria. Only if you want your sound to be global, even though if you are seeking for funds, these are the right places for you to just try to embrace and also penetrate into it and get what you want from. So me, I have decided to just say, I have part of the gift God gave me, which is the French that I can sing, I can speak, and I can sing with. So I just have to explore it in that way around. So that's why I'm trying to divert a little bit to give the attention to it, and I'm getting the attention already.
So you're worldwide, you're global. Today, Lagos, Cote d'Ivoire, you're going
tomorrow,
to Europe.
Cameroon, for another moment.
A lot of artists, once they go like that, people won't be able to afford them in Nigeria because their charges go very high. And then for you to see your star, your fave is impossible in Nigeria. Would we still be able to afford you at this rate? And what do you make of artists charging exorbitant fees that their local fans that made them can no longer have access to them?
Yeah, you know, the thing is really, really disturbing. Why I say that? The moment artists are grinding, nobody sees what is going on. Nobody sees how the fund is coming, how much they put effort and get money to put into their craft. That is one thing. And the moment there is a little bit of spark on their head, that is where you get to see. I call him for show. He's feeling proud. He's showing off. He said it's too much. Now, if as an artist, if you are to imagine the amount of money you spend so much on your own craft, there are some amount of money you even cost if they call it, because you are the light of the world at the moment. So you won't have the choice to just call any amount of money. So I don't blame artists for that. It's not their fault. It is the hustle. There are some people that they spend a couple of years without making it. God just say, okay, it's your right time, do it. He would like to make sure it's gather everything at once, because it's not for life. Champion will not be there for life.
So they are making the most of the opportunity. I hope they remember us, the fans that made them, and make them their tickets affordable.
It's not easy. That's the reason why.
We wish you all the best with your upcoming European tour. Kido, thank you for being our guest on Rubbin.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you so much.
And that's where we'll close the show. My name is Isabella Adeliji. Remember, you can follow the conversation online using the hashtag Rubbin Minds. Do have a great afternoon. Goodbye.